In this video, we are going to discuss how to tackle the writer's effect question for our paper 1 reading text A, question number 2, that is language and its effect question. First of all, let's understand what is writer's effect. A writer selects words and shapes them in the same way that an artist mixes particular hues of paint and applies them to a canvas using brush. So when you're going to attempt the writer's effect question, you are going to first you are going to understand how to tackle the effect question, and how the language and its effect it has been discussed, and how you are going to understand and solve it. How to approach questions on writer's effect. You should learn to recognize the different forms in which questions can be asked about the ways writers achieve effects. As we have in the specimen paper, question number 2, we have 4 to 5 style of language and its effect questions. They do not all contain the word effect, although some do. A short but important keyword is how. Now, for example, it is given in your book also. Look at the sentence. Her outlook on events changed as if the bright sun was suddenly covered by a heavy rain cloud. To give a full response to this question, how does the writer convey the change in the character's state of mind? How you are going to answer this question is, it is not enough simply to say by using a simile, as we have read that there is a simile that has been used in a person's personality, but you have to find out what is the impact, and you are going to discuss, and then you are going to attempt it. First you have to understand what is why has the writer used it. As all this does is to show that you can recognize an example of a particular figure of speech. It is not enough to say by using a simile comparing the character's state of mind with the sunny day. So you're not going to simply answer it that the writer has used a simile. You are going to provide a better answer to give your examiner the true picture, the true understanding of the statement. With a sunny day, the character's state of mind with the sunny day suddenly turning dark, as this does little more than reward. So how to do it? A simple tip to remember is, once you've made such a statement, ask yourself the additional question why. So for this you have to practice the 5 W's why, and here the 2 question words how and why. Why does the writer use this simile? So focus on why, and then you are going to make your own answer. Use your answer to that to complete your response. For example, the effect of this simile, now this is the answer, is to convey to the reader that the character was at first in a bright and warm mood, suggested by the first part of the simile, comparing her with a warm sunny day. The second half of the sentence, however, with the comparison with the rain cloud, makes the reader aware that the mood changes suddenly as she realizes that something unpleasant is about to happen to her. So this is how you are going to attempt, or you are going to practice the writer's effect question. Putting it all together, what we have just read, that words carry a literal meaning. Words often also carry shades of meaning and are relational. So sometimes it is not the direct meaning. Words may be modified by their context. Words may carry sensory associations. Words may carry emotional associations. Before we attempt the actual question, let's study this worksheet, that is writing the effect worksheet. Cause and effect worksheet, it may help you to understand this question and solve it in a better way. A cause is why something happens. An effect is an event that happens because of the cause. A cause and effect shows a relationship between actions and events. So here, as you can see, there is an example is, the man lifted weights, so he got stronger. So cause and effect. You may practice this worksheet before you go to the actual question. attempt the writer's effect question. Next we have the some of the phrases. Writer's effect writing frame. You may wish to use the following writing frame to structure your answers. For example, the writer creates the impression, or the word dash helps. These are the different kinds of questions that may appear in your question paper. So these are just some sample sentences to begin your answers. However, it also suggests maybe there you are going to give two reasons. The word has connotations of. The writer uses this word to create an image of, so you can use them. Explaining, if you are going to explain an idea, then you may use these phrases. This implies, this suggests, which gives the impression, this shows, this clearly shows, possibly, perhaps, indicates, obviously, this conveys to the reader that. So these are some of the sample sentences for the writing frame. So now when you have practiced and you are now prepared to attempt the question, then there's some of the steps you may want to take, and you can better understand and solve it appropriately. Step number one is skim reading. As we know, skimming and scanning, the two main strategies of reading. So first read passage to get a sense of time, place, topic, genre, tone and atmosphere. Number two is the important, that is scanning and selecting. After reading the question on writer's effect, paper 1, question 2, and underlining the key word in each part of the question, return to passage and highlight possibly in two colors for the two different aspects the relevant material. So you are going to move towards the relevant portion, underline the key word before you are going to find out the impact or the effect. Identify and highlight only the keyword or phrase which is particularly effective, not a large chunk of text. This is very important. So you are not you are focused, and you are not going to write an irrelevant answer. Aim to find approximately 3 to 5 choices for each part of the question. Once you have done it, scanning is done, then your next step is transferring to a plan. This is when you are practicing. Transfer the chosen quotations to a table, dividing them into 3 sections, that is evidence, explanation and effect. Explain the effect it is conveying and the reason for the word or short phrase being effective. Pay particular attention to figurative language, that is similes and metaphors. You may use literary terms if they are relevant and accurate, but you still need to explain the precise effect of the particular example you have chosen. So our next step would be to attempt some simple questions for the language and effect question.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and share to receive more videos like this in the future.
Now let's attempt a question of how writers achieve effect. That is a figurative language example. The example is: the branches scratched angrily at the windows, desperately trying to come inside to escape the pouring rain. So it is figurative language, and as you have understood that it's personification. So the question might be what is the effect that the writer is going to create here. So one possible answer can be: the writer is using personification, scratched angrily, to emphasize how aggressive and violent the storm is, and by suggesting that the tree is frightened and desperate and thinks it will be safer inside the house. So you have to underline the key words: scratched angrily, desperately, and to escape. So the effect answer is easier for you. Now let's attempt a question of language and effect according to our paper pattern, and it is taken from the passage The House in the Mist. It is from the new Cambridge endorsed book for examination from 2024. The House in the Mist, and it is paragraph number 2. I have underlined the lines: I was young, and youth, as I have said, seeks the strange, the unknown, and sometimes the terrible. So the question might be: what impression of traveler's character does the reader gain from above description? So first step you have to do is to underline the key phrases: young and youth, seeks the strange, unknown and terrible. And remember that you are going to focus on the traveler's personality and the traits of his character that are described in these two lines. So first make a quick note. The next step after underlining is to make quick notes, and then you are going to answer, because it would be having two marks. So one possible answer can be: the reader gains the impression that the traveler is adventurous, curious and drawn to the unconventional, even if it involves encountering something frightening or unsettling at times. So here we are going to focus on the traveler's character, that he is impulsive, thoughtless and also sometimes we can say fearless. So another example of the writer's effect question is, again it is taken from the same passage, The House in the Mist, and now this time it is paragraph number 7. I have underlined this phrase, and the mist had swallowed him. It has been underlined, but remember that you are going to read the lines beginning of the paragraph till the end, so you are going to have a clearer picture of what is why it is being said, and with reference to the context. But the phrase is, and the mist had swallowed him, and the question is, what is the effect of the writer's use of the word swallowed in paragraph 7? So our keyword, the only keyword in this phrase is swallowed. So first of all you have to find out the meaning of swallowed, and then according to the of course it is personification, the mist had swallowed him, so we are going to focus on what had happened to the man. So the effect of what is the effect the writer has wanted to create? One possible answer can be, the word swallowed implies that the mist enveloped the traveler entirely, adding a mysterious and possibly ominous tone to the description. Remember that you may be having, by practicing, one or two or three options and then to select the final one. Another option can be, the mist had, or the man had disappeared suddenly. So you may add it with this explanation and the effect of the answer. Now let's attempt another question, that is the last question of question number 2, language and its effect, and that is I'm going to read the question. Identify one example from the text below of how the writer uses language effectively to convey his feelings about the strange man. So this extract has been taken from paragraph 6 of the passage, The House in the Mist, and the passage is, this also struck me as peculiar, and his lack of surprise at an encounter more or less startling in such a mist was even more of a puzzle. Indeed, he was so little impressed by my presence there that he was about to pass me without a word. So I have underlined it depends on this student to select one phrase according to the question. So I have underlined it according to the question, that is the phrase, the sentence is, he was so little impressed by my presence. So what you have to do, the first step is to identify the one example. There might be 2 or 3, but you have to select one, jot it down in the example section, and then explain it. Now here you are going to use your technique which you have learnt already about the impression. What was the writer's impression about the strange man? That is in your own words. Of course, it's going to be in third person. So one possible explanation of this example is, the writer feels that the stranger was not particularly affected by his presence, suggesting a lack of significance on the stranger. Now here is the quick recap of our today's lecture, how do writers achieve effect. So I hope you have learnt a lot. Goodbye and good luck.